Matthew Stafford could punch his ticket to Canton this weekend, couldn't he? For years, the question surrounding Matthew Stafford has lingered quietly in NFL circles, surfacing only when milestones were reached or playoff runs reignited the debate. Is Matthew Stafford a future Hall of Famer? Now, as another pivotal weekend looms on the NFL calendar, one loaded with postseason implications, legacy-defining stakes, and the familiar intensity that has followed Stafford throughout his career, the conversation feels louder, sharper, and more urgent than ever. If circumstances align, if Stafford delivers one of those vintage performances that have defined his career, the long road from number 1 overall pick to potential Canton immortality may finally reach its clearest turning point. So yes, Matthew Stafford could punch his ticket to Canton this weekend. And the case for it may be stronger than many are willing to admit. The long journey of a no.1 pick. Matthew Stafford entered the NFL in 2009 carrying enormous expectations. Selected first overall by the Detroit Lions, he was handed one of the league's most daunting challenges: revive a franchise that had just gone 0-16. From the outset, Stafford showed rare arm talent. The throws were effortless, explosive, and fearless. He could drive the ball into tight windows from angles most quarterbacks wouldn't attempt. Yet talent alone does not define a Hall of Fame career, context does. Detroit was not an easy environment. Coaching changes, roster instability, defensive struggles, and inconsistent supporting casts became recurring themes. And yet, Stafford endured. He didn't ask out. He didn't publicly complain. He simply threw, again and again. Durability, toughness, and legendary moments. One of the earliest clues that Stafford was different came in 2009, during a now iconic moment against the Cleveland Browns. Playing through a separated shoulder, Stafford delivered a game-winning touchdown pass, collapsing in pain immediately afterward. That play did more than win a game, it defined a mindset. Stafford became synonymous with toughness. Over the years, he played through injuries that would sideline many quarterbacks. Broken fingers, back issues, ankle injuries, none stopped him from taking snaps. Hall of Fame voters value longevity and resilience. Stafford's career is overflowing with both. Statistical excellence in quiet circumstances. For much of his career, Stafford's numbers were overshadowed by flashier teams and louder narratives. Yet when placed side by side with quarterbacks already enshrined in Canton, his production is impossible to ignore. Over 55,000 career passing yards. More than 360 touchdown passes. Multiple 5,000-yard seasons. One of the fastest quarterbacks to reach major passing milestones. Stafford didn't just compile stats. He did so while often playing from behind, facing constant pressure, and carrying teams that leaned heavily on his right arm. Stat accumulation alone doesn't guarantee a gold jacket, but sustained excellence over 15-plus seasons absolutely strengthens the case. The Detroit years, penalized for loyalty. For critics, Stafford's lack of playoff success in Detroit became a convenient dismissal. 0 playoff wins in 12 seasons felt like a fatal flaw. But context matters. The Lions' defenses routinely ranked near the bottom of the league. Running games were inconsistent. Coaching continuity was rare. And yet, Stafford kept the team competitive year after year. Hall of Fame history is filled with players who transcended flawed organizations, but were not punished for circumstances beyond their control. Stafford's loyalty to Detroit should be viewed not as a weakness, but as a testament to professionalism. The Rams trade. A career-altering decision. When Stafford was traded to the Los Angeles Rams in 2021, everything changed. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. In his very first season with the Rams, Stafford threw for 4,886 yards, led the NFL in touchdown passes, engineered multiple game-winning drives, won Super Bowl 56, and perhaps most importantly, he did it under pressure. Late-game comebacks against Tampa Bay, clutch throws to Cooper Kupp, ice-cold composure on the biggest stage. Stafford didn't just win, he proved he could lead a championship team. That Super Bowl ring erased the loudest criticism against him overnight. The eye test. What the numbers don't show. Hall of Fame voters don't rely solely on spreadsheets. They remember moments. Stafford has authored some of the most jaw-dropping throws of his era. No-look lasers, sidearm darts, deep shots threaded between defenders. His arm talent has long been described by peers as elite, even generational. Defensive coordinators game-planned around him. Teammates trusted him. Opponents respected him. When the lights were brightest, Stafford rarely blinked. Comparing Stafford to Canton quarterbacks. When measured against Hall of Fame quarterbacks from the modern era, Stafford's resume stands tall. Compared to Troy Aikman, Stafford has far superior passing statistics. More yards, more touchdowns, longer peak. Compared to Kurt Warner, similar playoff heroics. One Super Bowl win, longer career consistency. Compared to Eli Manning, a frequent comparison. Stafford has stronger regular season numbers. Comparable clutch moments. Fewer rings, but fewer elite supporting casts early on. The debate is no longer whether Stafford belongs in the conversation, but whether his candidacy is inevitable. This weekend. Why it matters. This weekend isn't just another game. It represents another postseason opportunity, another chance to add to a legacy already rich with production, another nationally visible moment to remind voters who Matthew Stafford is. Big games shape Hall of Fame memory. Performances that live on in highlight reels become arguments etched in gold. If Stafford delivers, if he leads, rallies, and conquers, the narrative tightens further. Late career renaissance. Unlike many quarterbacks who fade late, Stafford has aged gracefully. His decision-making has improved. His leadership is more refined. His command of offenses remains sharp. Even as younger stars enter the league, Stafford continues to prove he belongs among the elite. Longevity plus productivity is a powerful Hall of Fame combination. The critics still exist, but are they right? Critics point to only one Super Bowl, limited deep playoff runs, playing in pass-heavy eras. But those arguments grow weaker with time. One Super Bowl win has been enough for many quarterbacks. Era adjustments cut both ways. And playoff success is often team-dependent. Stafford did his job when given the opportunity, and did it brilliantly. Legacy is built in moments like these. Hall of Fame careers aren't decided in silence. They're shaped in defining moments, on Sundays that feel heavier than others. This weekend carries that weight. Whether it's a comeback drive, a signature throw, or simply another composed performance under pressure, Stafford has the chance to further solidify his place among football's immortals. So, could he punch his ticket to Canton? Yes, absolutely. Matthew Stafford's career is no longer missing pieces, it's adding finishing touches. A Super Bowl champion, a statistical giant, a tough, respected leader. A quarterback who thrived despite adversity. If Canton is reserved for players who defined their era, Matthew Stafford has done exactly that. And this weekend might just be the moment everyone finally agrees.